Hello everyone, my name is Boko, thank you for coming. Today we talk about verbal nouns. Download the free PDF for this lesson and many other lessons on my website. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and let's begin. Hajde da počnemo. Today's lesson is about verbal nouns. I don't think this lesson is going to be particularly difficult or long, so all of you could listen to it, although it is an advanced grammar lesson. Let's take a look. Verbal nouns, glagolske imenice, right? Because verb, glagol, noun, imenica, verbal nouns, glagolske imenice. Verbal nouns are derived from verbs and they usually describe a process. That's why they are mostly or usually formed from imperfective and transitive verbs. Now, we can make verbal nouns out of intransitive verbs as well, just not out of all of them. Some of them just don't exist in Serbian, even though they are perfectly normal in English. For example, eating or doing don't exist in Serbian. Verbal nouns are very similar to the ing form in English, to gerunds, and that is how we usually translate them to Serbian. They are not identical though, and we don't always translate them as gerunds. It depends. Sometimes it sounds better if you just use the infinitive. Plivanje je zabavno. Swimming is fun. Idem na spavanje kasno. I go to sleep late. Napišite datum rođenja. Write your date of birth. Umoran sam od učenja. I'm tired of studying. Ovo je ogromno sniženje. This is a huge sale. Don't worry if these constructions confuse you. We are just starting with this lesson and with this video, so these are just examples to show you that it's not always the same in Serbian and in English, that we don't always have gerunds on both sides or don't always translate gerunds from English to Serbian directly or literally. So just keep watching the video though, and you will understand these constructions, these sentences that I just showed you, and learn many verbal nouns. It's okay, it's not hard. Typical verbal nouns are formed from transitive verbs. Reminder, transitive verbs are the ones that require an object. Most commonly, the T ending in the infinitive, the Serbian infinitive, is omitted and suffix nje is applied. To read, čitati, reading, čitanje, reading is fun, čitanje je zabavno. The adjective that describes a verbal noun is always neuter singular. That's why we have zabavno, right? Fun, zabavno, the neuter form. Or if you want to say boring, dosadno. Or if you want to say great, sjajno. Okay? Also, it is a verbal noun, but it is a noun nonetheless, so it can be declined through all the cases. Nominative čitanje, genitive čitanja, dative čitanju, accusative čitanje, we're not really going to use vocative, instrumental čitanjem, locative čitanju. To sleep, spavati, sleeping, spavanje. Sleeping is my favorite sport. Spavanje je moj omiljen sport. To swim, plivati, swimming, plivanje. I don't like swimming, ne volim plivanje. To run, trčati, running, trčanje. I'm going running, idem na trčanje. This creation model is very productive as you can make a verbal noun out of any imperfective verb. It is also by far the most common pattern, although there are some subcategories. Active verbs have the suffix nje. To watch, gledati, watching, gledanje. So this is basically the first and the most common variation or subcategory. The iti verbs, though, have the suffix enje. To study, učiti, studying, učenje. Studying is sometimes boring, učenje je ponekad dosadno. To build, graditi, building or construction, građenje. To smoke, pušiti, smoking, pušenje. Some gerunds have specific meanings and are no longer felt connected to the verbs. They have their own meaning. So these ones derived from imperfective verbs. To think, misliti, opinion, mišljenje. I mean, obviously they are connected, right? But they have their own, specific meaning. What is your opinion? Kakvo je tvoje mišljenje? To mean, značiti, meaning, značenje. Does this word have a meaning? Da li ova reč ima značenje? To ask, pitati, question, pitanje. To travel, putovati, travel as a noun, putovanje. To know, znati, knowledge, znanje. Verbal nouns with specific meaning from perfective verbs. To surprise, iznenaditi, a surprise, iznenađenje. To explain, objasniti, explanation, objašnjenje. To refresh, osvežiti, refreshment, osveženje. That one kind of sounds cool, osveženje. We usually refer to drinks when we use this word, right? Like, you must be thirsty. Do you want a refreshment? Sigurno si žedan or žedna. Želiš li osveženje? To warn, upozoriti. Warning, upozorenje. To lower or reduce or decrease, sniziti. A sale or a reduction, sniženje, usually refers to the reduction of the price, right? To the lowering of the price of something. To free, liberate, osloboditi, liberation, oslobođenje. To promise, obećati, a promise, obećanje. To give birth, roditi. To be born, roditi se. Birth, rođenje. There are many more. These are just some examples. This also happened in English. The gerund taking a different specific meaning is what I'm saying. For example, to paint and a painting, right? It's not really just a gerund. Painting is not a gerund. I mean, it could be, but it took... or it has taken a specific meaning now, right? So a painting and the verb to paint kind of have different meanings now, or a painting has its own specific meaning now. It's a piece of art. A vast majority of these verbs would have the nje ending, but we also have a small number of che ending verbal nouns. The verbs that end in uti have the uche ending. To resurrect, vaskrsnuti, resurrection, vaskrsnuće. To dawn, svanuti, dawn as a noun, svanuće. To achieve, postignuti, achievement, postignuće. Some iti verbs have the suffix iće. To discover, otkriti, discovery, otkriće. To be, biti, a being, biće. Is he a human being? Da li je on ljudsko biće? When we have an object after a verbal noun, it is in genitive case. Watching the movie is fun. Gledanje filma je zabavno. So the word film is in genitive. The liberation of Belgrade was hard. Belgrade, Beograd. But we say oslobođenje Beograda je bilo teško. Try to remember this rule. The birth of my first child, rođenje mog prvog deteta. As you can remind yourself here, the genitive adjectives have suffix og in masculine, and then of course genitive of the word child, dete, would be deteta. When we have the construction go and then a gerund, like go swimming, go running, we say idem na and then a verbal noun, which means that we always say that we go on swimming and go on running. I go camping every year. Idem na kampovanje. I go running often. Često idem na trčanje. I don't go swimming. Ne idem na plivanje. Also try to remember this rule, and this is a very specific one. So you only have this na when you're saying that you go, and then a gerund. You don't use this preposition na for any or in any other case. For a few verbal nouns, and very common ones I might add, we use u. I go shopping, idem u kupovinu. So I think people have asked me many times, why is it like this? We also talk about when we use in and when we use on in Serbian, right? You know what I mean? Like, why is this on the beach and why is this in the park and why is this in the store? So assumingly that you kind of learned why we use certain prepositions for different locations. Regardless of that, now we have just this rule here, kind of related to these verbal nouns. And then for this specific verbal noun, shopping, kupovina, we always use u. Idem u kupovinu. I'm saying all of this because this is an exception if you look at the in and on rule, the rule that says that we go in physical places and then we go on some abstract, abstract nouns or events like parties, concerts, and classes. So shopping would also be something that is not physical. It would be a concept, but we still say u kupovinu. I go for a walk, idem u šetnju. Now we can move on to some less common patterns. Nja suffix, to make someone angry, ljutiti, to get angry, ljutiti se, anger, ljutnja. To hate, mrzeti, hatred, mržnja. To suffer, patiti, suffering, patnja. To be careful, paziti. Attention, pažnja. To threaten, pretiti. A threat, pretnja. To stroll, to take a walk, šetati. A stroll, šetnja. To drive, voziti. A ride, vožnja. To save money, štedeti. Savings, štednja. Now take a look at the next verb. We already had it in the enje category, but it actually forms two different verbal nouns. To build, graditi, So building, construction, građenje, but also we have gradnja. Next, aja suffix, to sell, prodavati. I sell, prodajem, sale, prodaja. We also had the word sale before. We translated it as sniženje, which means lowering, loweration, if you will, something that has a lower price than usual, right? And here, prodaja, the word means that something is being sold, that something is available and it is on the market. It doesn't mean that the price is lowered, right? So there's a difference, and we need both of these words, and they actually have different meanings, kind of similar but different. So if you weren't sure that you got me, take a look at it one more time. To get married, female, udavati se. Getting married as a noun, udaja. Ak suffix, to come, dolaziti. Arrival or the coming of, dolazak. To leave or depart, odlaziti. Departure, odlazak. To begin, početi. Beginning, početak. To separate, rastati se. Farewell, parting, or separation, rastanak. To meet, sastati se. Meeting, sastanak. Ba suffix, to fight, boriti se. A fight, borba. To exhibit, izložiti. An exhibition, izložba. To pick fruits and vegetables, brati. I pick, berem. Harvest, berba. We also have a no suffix nouns. They look just like verbs, just without iti or ati. I mean, with these suffixes omitted, with the endings omitted, and they're just verbal nouns, just like that, without any specific suffixes added. So, to hunt, loviti. Hunt as a noun, lov. I go hunting, idem u lov. That one is also u. These are exceptional, trust me. We don't usually use u for this kind of concepts, but this one is also idem u lov for some reason. To import, uvoziti. Import as a noun, uvoz. To export, izvoziti. Export as a noun, izvoz. To enlist, to register, upisati. Enrollment or registration, upis. Va suffix, to pray, moliti se. Prayer, molitva. And the last one, I suffix, to inhale, udisati. Inhale as a noun, udisai. If you have your gerund explaining the purpose of the noun, you would say that it's for that. You would use the preposition for. Reading glasses, naočare za čitanje. Glasses for reading. Baking paper, papir za pečenje. Paper for baking, right? Goggles, naočare za plivanje, for swimming. Running shoes, patike za trčanje. If you want to describe a certain function of the noun in English, you would use a gerund to describe the function of the noun, like a working computer. So we would say a computer which is working, which works. Working computer, computer koji radi, computer that works. Singing cat, mačka koja peva, a cat that sings. Crying baby, beba koja plače, a baby that is crying. Bleeding wound, rana koja krvari. So I bleed, krvarim. When you use verbal nouns as a location, you're in or on something. But you're in the process or on the process. Take a look. Deda je u lovu, as we explained before. So grandpa is hunting, is how you would probably say in English, right? Because this is locative now. It's different from I'm going hunting, idem ulov. That kind of makes sense directly translating. But here is more like locative. So in English, you would just say grandpa is hunting. I don't really think there's another way of saying it or a locative way of saying it. You cannot say in English, grandpa is in the hunt, or anything like that. I mean, maybe you could, maybe there's a variation of that sentence that would be grammatically correct in English, but nobody uses it, right? So you just say grandpa is hunting. But what we say, if we wish to use a verbal noun, we would say literally, grandpa is in the hunt, deda je u lovu. But the practical difference is, when we say it in Serbian, it makes complete sense, perfect sense, and we actually use it quite often. Moja sestra je u šetnji. My sister is taking a walk, I would say, or literally she is in the stroll. Dokument je na prevodu. The document is being translated, right? Or literally, the document is on the translation, is in the process of being translated, Where is Borko? Gde je Borko? Borko je na trčanju. Borko is running. He's on a run. Some more examples of verbal nouns. To fall, padati. Fall as a noun, pad. To contribute, doprinositi, contribution, doprinos. To exam, ispitati, exam as a noun, ispit. To sign, potpisati, signature, potpis. To have pain, to be in pain, boleti. Just pain, bol. To look, to appear, izgledati, appearance, izgled. To work, raditi. Work as a noun, rad. So that is hard work. To je težak rad. To worry, brinuti. Concern or worry, briga. To need, trebati. Need as a noun, potreba. To wish, želeti. Wish as a noun, želja. To intend, nameravati. Intention, namera. To buy, kupovati. Shopping, kupovina. Alright, thank you very much for watching. Visit my website, teacherboko.com. A lot of cool content, materials and books, blog posts, info about my lessons and courses, my social media, etc. Hvala, vidimo se. Ćao!